over in the Windy City, Derrick Rose made some interesting comments about his long-term health. And here's what the Chicago Bulls point guard had to say about his litany of injuries.
I'm thinking about long term. I'm thinking about after I'm done with basketball, having graduations to go to, or having meetings to go to. I don't want to be in my meetings all sore or be at my son's graduation all sore just because of something I did in the past. So just learning and being smart.
So do you guys have a problem with Rose's comments? Stephen A?
Skip Bayless, I have to tell you that when I heard these comments, and I'm not exaggerating, I was devastated, to be quite honest with you. You know how I feel about Derrick Rose. You know how great I think he is as a player, as well as a person. Nothing's changed in terms of my opinion about how I feel about him as a person, of course, but I'm of the mindset, Skip, that if Derrick Rose is healthy, the Chicago Bulls are going to the finals, and Derrick Rose will win League MVP honors, certainly Comeback Player of the Year honors. He's played just 10 games over the last 2 years. But to be in the midst of a $90 million contract, guaranteed over a 5-year period, having played just 10 games of 164 in the last 2 years, to literally state that, you know, you're thinking long term and bringing up stuff about being able to walk around with your kids and, you know, go see them. I don't understand that. It's inexcusable. It's egregious. It's the kind of thing that if I were the Chicago Bulls, if I were Jerry Reinsdorf, I would sit there and literally feel like I gave this man this money. I couldn't believe the words that came out of his mouth, because the reality is that, I mean, this man is not playing football. He's not boxing. Chances are whatever injury he sustains, the danger that he'd have to be concerned about is not being able to play basketball at the highest level anymore. It's not like he'd have to worry about never walking again or anything like that, or you know, or death happening on the basketball court. You know, that's not what he's talking about here. So it doesn't really make much sense what he was alluding to, Skip. And to me, the people that have said, you know, I have been supportive of this guy, as you well know, Skip, on this show all of these years. And, you know, you had people calling him soft. You had people saying that, you know, durability was a huge question mark, which it obviously was. You know, when he couldn't come back in the postseason, you had people saying that he should have come back. And, you know, and I was like, look, if you ain't ready, you ain't ready. And that's just the way that it is. But this kind of mentality, what he expressed, what he disseminated to the masses, was incredibly alarming. I have never, ever in my life heard a basketball player utter the quotes that he uttered. I've heard it in boxing. I've heard it in football. You know, I'm sure somebody fighting in the UFC would say such a thing, because these are the kind of violent sports that your life can end on one play or one hit, okay, literally. But in the sport of basketball, I've never heard of the kind of quote that Derrick Rose gave. It was incredibly alarming. It was incredibly disappointing. And it brings into question every critic and every cynical word that has been said about him. And it saddens me, man, because I never saw that coming. I never did.
To use your word, your operative word, devastated. As you know, I spent several years as a columnist at the Chicago Tribune. I still have many friends in Chicago. I've been in touch with several of them over the last few hours. They are devastated by these comments. They are sick and tired of a Derrick Rose that they have tried so hard over the years to embrace. This is, as you know, one of their own, born and bred Chicagoan, Derrick Rose, who continues to rub their noses in their love for him, because it's becoming clearer and clearer to the people of Chicago, who, as you know, cherish players who play hard and even play hurt. It's becoming clear that Derrick Rose is very, very gifted at something he really doesn't want to do, and that's play basketball at the highest level, the NBA level. So now they have to face the fact that over the last 2 years, Derrick Rose played 10 total games and made approximately $34 million. Think about that. 10 games, $34 million over the last 2 years. And now this, that he's more concerned with his afterlife than his current NBA life, just when they think, and you're one who's picked them to win the East, just when they think they have a chance again, just as he teases them with bursts of the old Derrick Rose, they get this right between the eyes. And they feel held hostage. They feel like that Derrick Rose is somehow teasing them again and then jerking it back out from under them, the rug, that to the point where Stephen A., I wonder, do they even want him to play in Chicago anymore? And I don't think I'm exaggerating this. I think there's going to be a real backlash to just go home, Derrick. If that's the way you feel, go home. And remember, he's had to live up to the greatest legacy in the history of sports, and that's the Michael Jordan legacy. Did Michael Jordan ever hint at, I've got to save myself for my after-basketball life? Absolutely not.
Well, Skip, I'll take it a step further. If you remember, one of the things that led to the biggest falling out between Michael Jordan and Jerry Krause was the fact that Jerry Krause, when Michael Jordan was hurt, and the Chicago Bulls were destined for the lottery, Michael Jordan was willing to come back, and Jerry Krause was like, you're not coming back, you're not coming back. And Michael Jordan said, oh, yes, I am. Ultimately led them to an 8th seed within the Eastern Conference before they got bounced out and swept by Larry Bird's Boston Celtics. But if I remember correctly, Skip, that was when Michael Jordan dropped 63.
He did.
And Larry Bird called him the closest thing to God, if not God himself. That's what Larry Bird said about Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan wasn't just great because of his because of his greatness as a basketball player. It was his willingness to play no matter what. I personally, Skip, was at Madison Square Garden many years ago when the Chicago Bulls were champions, and here were the Knicks. They were coming. They had Ewing. They had Charles Smith and Charles Oakley and John Starks and Derrick Harper and these boys. And they were blowing the Chicago Bulls out by 37 points in a regular season game. And Michael Jordan, if I remember correctly, had twisted his ankle. He went into the locker room, Skip. The game was over. They were down by 37, and Michael Jordan came back out of the locker room limping and was still diving for loose balls and everything like that, just to send the New York Knicks a message. I'm going to be here waiting for you when you think you're coming. And that's the kind of mentality that the city of Chicago, a great sports town, has grown used to. So when you look at Derrick Rose, you know there's no bigger defender of him than me. But could you imagine if LeBron James had said this? If Kevin Durant had said this? If a Carmelo Anthony or a Chris Paul or somebody had said this? They'd be raked through the coals. I love Derrick Rose. Great, great kid. No doubt about it. And I think his talent is surreal. He's big time. I think he is a preeminent superstar when healthy. But these comments here cannot in any way be supported. I've never been more I don't know. I shouldn't say I've never been because I don't know. I got to think about it. But I don't know if I've ever been more disappointed in the words of an NBA player in all my years of covering the NBA. This is really, really bad. There is no excuse. He's already set for life. For him to be talking about this stuff, I mean, what the hell are you talking about? You twist an ankle, you break your ankle, you get operated on, you come back. You might not be able to play, but you're going to be able to walk around. You're going to be able to talk to your kids. You're going to be able to do all of that stuff. What are you talking about? It makes no sense what he said. I cannot defend this. This is as bad as it gets in terms of the wrong words coming out of a professional athlete's mouth. This is bad.
Well, again, he has said similar things before, as in the vein of, I'm doing you a favor to play this much for you. And now it calls even greater into question, what was he doing over the last 2 years to play only 10 games? Was he really that hurt? Or did he just say, I think I'm going to cruise for a while here. I think I'm going to wait a couple of years just to make sure I'm 1,000% healthy. It's got to turn stomachs of Chicagoans who are tough by nature to have to watch this unfold.
It ain't just Chicago and Skip.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, look, who raves about Derrick Rose more than me?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I'd love to sit here and tell you that you crossed the line, that you're wrong. Skip, I can't say that.
Yeah.
These quotes scared me and disgusted me because you can literally look at these quotes right now and literally question whether or not he really wants it. But you signed for that money. You got that money, and you're set for life. Your contract's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Your contract's guaranteed. If all else fails, that along with his shoot deal, you're getting over $100 million. If all else fails, you got your money. What are you talking about? You worry. Worried about what? Worried about what?
So allow me to conclude. Chicago fans, I feel sorry for you today because of what you had to endure on Sunday night in the first half against your arch rival Packers, 42-0 at halftime. I thought that was the lowest moment in Chicago Bears history, given the expectations of this team and this quarterback, Jay Cutler. And now this from your other superstar, Derrick Rose. Sorry.
If he wins, you know what? To me, Skip, all it comes down to is this. The only way Derrick Rose can make amends for this is to play and for Chicago to compete for a championship while he's on the court. If he's not winning the championship, they're going to remember this. And if he's not playing, it's going to be even worse.
And it comes to the point right now, can he play because of all these injuries? I mean, right now he's averaging 28 minutes per game, the lowest of his career. All right, let's switch it up. Coming up, we're going to take a break.